My name is Daniel White, and I am 68 years old. For 4 years, I worked in the same company. It was a printing business. I managed a team, made reports, organized deliveries, and solved problems. I wore a tie every day and drank black coffee every morning. I enjoyed my job. I was proud of my work. Then I retired. At first, it felt nice. I could sleep in, I read books, I cleaned the house, I visited old friends, I walked in the park. I thought, this is peaceful. But after a few months, I began to feel different. Every day started to feel the same. Quiet, long, lonely. I didn't have a wife anymore. She passed away 3 years ago. We never had kids. Most of my friends moved away or were busy with their own families. Sometimes I would go to the supermarket just to talk to the cashier, or I would sit in the coffee shop and listen to people talking. I didn't need more rest. I needed purpose again. One Tuesday afternoon, I saw something interesting at the coffee shop. It was a bright yellow paper on the wall. Seniors, join our team. Do you have wisdom, kindness, and life experience? We are looking for senior interns at ClickStyle, a growing fashion company. No tech skills? Don't worry. Just bring yourself. I stared at it for a long time. Interns were usually young, teenagers, college students. Me, I was almost 70, but something about that flyer made me curious. That night, I went home and turned on my old laptop. I filled out the application form and clicked send. I didn't expect anything to happen. 3 days later, I got an email. Hi Daniel, we loved your application. Can you come for an interview this Friday? I smiled for the first time in weeks. That Friday, I wore my best blue suit, a white shirt, and polished shoes. My heart was beating fast. I felt nervous, like a young man again. The Click Style office was modern and bright. Open space, colorful chairs, lots of computers. There was even a dog sleeping under a desk. A cheerful woman named Sarah greeted me. She was in her 20s and wore sneakers. Daniel, right? Welcome, she said, shaking my hand. The interview went well. She asks why I applied. I am not ready to sit in silence, I said. I still have more to give. She smiled. We need people like you. On my first day, I arrived early. Everyone else came in slowly, holding coffee or talking on their phones. Most of them were young. They wore jeans, t-shirts, and hoodies. Some even had blue or pink hair. A few looked at me and smiled. Some looked confused. I found my desk next to a young man named Leo. He had long curly hair and wore headphones. He didn't say much, just nodded. At lunch, I sat alone in the office kitchen. I watched the others eat together, laughing and showing each other things on their phones. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the jokes. I didn't know how to start a conversation. But I told myself, give it time. Everything was new. Emails, chat systems, online calendars. I didn't know what Slack was or how to share a document on Google Drive. I felt slow, but I wasn't afraid to ask. Excuse me, I would say, can you show me how to do this? A girl named Maya was very patient. Sure, Daniel, click here, then drag this. I wrote everything in a notebook so I wouldn't forget. Little by little, I improved. I even helped Leo clean up his digital folders one day. He looked surprised. Thanks, man, you are really organized. That made me smile. The boss of ClickStyle was a woman named Emily. She was only 32, but very successful. She had started the company in her apartment just a few years ago. Now, it had over 100 employees. Emma was sharp, fast, and always busy. She walked quickly, spoke quickly, and was always looking at her phone. I didn't meet her during the first week. I heard people say she wasn't excited about the senior intern program. She had said, "What do I do with a 68-year-old intern?" I didn't take it personally. She didn't know me yet. One day, Emma walked past my desk. She dropped her phone and didn't notice. I picked it up and followed her. "Emma," I said gently, "you dropped this." She turned. "Oh, thank you. Daniel, right?" "Yes," I said. "Nice to finally meet you." She gave me a small smile. "Nice to meet you too." It was only a moment, but sometimes a small moment opens a big door. 2 weeks later, Emma's personal assistant quit without warning. Things got messy. Emma was late for meetings. Papers were everywhere. She looked stressed. I knocked on her office door. "Emma," I said, "do you need help organizing your schedule? I used to manage calendars for 5 departments." She raised an eyebrow. "You know how to do that?" "Yes," I said, "and more." She hesitated, then nodded. "All right, Daniel. You're my assistant for now." Working with Emma wasn't easy at first. She likes everything fast. She expected perfection. But I stayed calm. I printed her schedules, reminded her of meetings, got her coffee, organized her desk. I even noticed when she looked tired. "You haven't eaten today," I said once. "Here is a granola bar." She smiled. "Thanks, Daniel. You think of everything." Slowly, she opened up. One night, after a long day, she sat down and sighed. "Sometimes I feel like I'm running a race I can't finish," she said. "You're doing great," I told her. "But even strong runners need to rest." She looks at me kindly. "I'm glad you're here." One day, Emma told me about her family. Her husband, Tom, stayed at home to care for their 4-year-old daughter, Lily. "I'm always working," she said. "Tom says I'm not present. He feels alone." I nodded. I have seen people lose what they love because they forget to slow down. "Talk to him, Emma." She did. A week later, she told me they had a deep talk. They started family dinners again. No phones, just them. "You were right," she said. "Sometimes I forget what's really important." A month later, the investors came. They said the company was growing too fast. They wanted Emma to hire a co-CEO, someone older with corporate experience. Emma was hurt. "They think I can't lead this," she told me. I looked her in the eye. "Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It means you are smart enough to know when to share the load." She thought about it for a few days. Then she made a choice. "I will hire a co-CEO," she said, "but I am not stepping down. I built this company. I am not leaving it." By now, people started to know me. Not just the old intern, but as someone they could talk to. "Daniel, can you help with my presentation?" "Daniel, what do I say in this meeting?" "Daniel, I feel nervous. What should I do?" I listened. I shared stories from my past. I gave advice when asked. I kept secrets when trusted. They started calling me Work Dad. Evelio, who barely talked at first, once said, "Daniel, you are the most solid guy here." That meant everything to me. One Friday, I came into the kitchen for lunch. Suddenly, everyone yelled, "Surprise!" There were balloons, cake, music, and a big card signed by the whole team. Emma stood up with a microphone. "When Daniel came here, I wasn't sure we needed him," she said, "but he became the heart of our company." He gave us wisdom, care, and time. He reminded us to slow down, to listen, and to be kind. Thank you, Daniel. I felt tears in my eyes. I had no words, just a full heart. Now, I am no longer just an intern. I work 3 days a week as the team mentor. I help with training. I talk to new hires. I check in with Emma. I still bring coffee sometimes. People ask, don't you want to just retire? But I smile and say, I tried that already. The truth is, I feel alive again. I have a place to go, people who need me, a purpose to wake up for. They say older people don't belong in fast tech companies. But I say, experience matters, kindness matters, and it's never too late to start again.